Yep. Yep.
Here they go.
I believe they did. All right, everyone, this is meteorologist Matt Standridge, Sean Ash here. Unfortunately, but also kind of expected, based on how things have been trending the last 2 or 3 days. We are in a rain delay for good reason. It's the Motor Speedway. And Matt, it's just going to be one of those deals where folks are just going to have to be patient and commending the track for making the call early to try to clear everyone out.
For sure. In fact, we've been watching the radar and looking at some of the cameras. In fact, you've got the track camera. Getting dark. The downpours are now surrounding the Speedway right now. Good thunderstorm on the way with some gusty winds and some lightning too.
Let's show you real quickly. We'll show you. So there's the Motor Speedway. Most importantly, grandstands, I know it's sad to see right now, are empty, okay? But this is why they're empty. I want to show you live Doppler 13 radar, and all morning long, Angela was talking about this arrival time between 12 and 1 p.m., and there you have it. Now, technically, not a severe storm, but we've got downpours, we've got lightning, and within this, we also have, and we talked about this a little bit yesterday, the potential that we could see some pockets of perhaps gusty wind, and we've seen some of that take place, Matt, within this line here.
Yeah, especially there in southern Hendricks County, you see that brighter green. It's moving north and east over time, right down Ronald Reagan Parkway from Plainfield north to Avon, and then kind of just on the north tip of that lightning bolt is kind of close to the Speedway. But we're looking south, you see some 40+ mile per hour winds, and like the National Weather Service has been pointing out, you know, not necessarily severe, but every once in a while you can get some power poles even taken down with a 45 mile per hour gust. But that is just moments away of coming into the Speedway. We've got downpours now, but that wind's about to hit.
Yeah, so, you know, right over the radar site there at the airport, and let me show you how, you know, I mean, we're closing in, there's IMS, so, you know, we're less than 5 miles, or less than 6 miles away from that lightning strike. So, and it is lifting in that direction. That's the other thing here. So let me show you, let me clear that out, and then let's pull the radar back out, show you the movement. So east, northeast. So the core of this will be over the Motor Speedway more than likely by the top of the hour. So within that 12 to 1 p.m. range here. All right. So
it's a good downpour too.
Yeah. And so then, you know, then we start thinking, okay, how long, how long is it going to take to get to the backside of what we're seeing there, which is over Terre Haute. We know it's always the window over Terre Haute.
No kidding.
So that's where we're looking for. And we've been looking at all kinds of data here, and basically we're thinking between 2:30, 3:30 p.m. Is when this should get east of the track.
It's not going to be a complete downpour and thunderstorm-like environment this whole time until then. We've got this hit for about 45 minutes or so with the darker reds. You see the heavy downpour coming through. But Sean, it's not just that though. You know, we can't race, of course, in thunderstorms. We can't race with any water on the track at all. And it's only moving about 35 miles per hour. So that's where to go.
That's the thing. So this is not. It's not like a squall line that's sweeping through. And so when we start thinking about potential green flag time here, you know, generally it's going to take close to 2 hours.
Yeah.
I know that a lot of folks have been talking about the NASCAR dryers.
Yeah.
This is also a humid setup.
It is.
Our dew points are climbing into the mid 60s.
Yeah.
It's not like it's a drier air mass where we've had a shower push through. So that also is a component here.
Yeah.
But if we're talking about a couple of hour window, we're looking at a potential green flag between 4 and 5 p.m. perhaps.
For sure. Yeah.
Again, tough to say exactly when that last raindrop's going to be.
For sure.
And we also don't know, after this main axis moves through, do we have a couple of showers that may move over the track, which is a possibility.
For sure.
During the drying process.
Yeah, which would not help at all. And some of the other factors too, and the president was saying this as well in that conference call we had earlier. You got the humidity. I was just looking at some relative humidity there in Illinois coming across the state line. It's over 90%, so very humid. There are not a lot of sun breaks. We get clouds. There's some sun in Illinois, but we're looking at through some new data coming in from the National Weather Service. There may be more redevelopment of clouds, so more sunshine would help dry out the track even faster. And then wind. On the backside of this rain, we only have wind speeds of 5 to 8 miles per hour. If you had a faster wind, that could possibly help dry the track even faster. So we're really going to be relying on those dryers that they're going to be putting out once the rain is done.
Yeah, and so if you notice, Richmond and Shelbyville are almost at 80 degrees. So it's possible, and we have talked about the potential of severe weather. I know a lot of folks, we're focusing a lot on the track too, but we also want you to know if you're east of this line, might have a little higher chance there from Shelbyville, Richmond, Connorsville, in the next couple of hours of seeing some severe gusts. Behind the line, the odds of dry. We got a 66 temperature there in Terre Haute and 65 in Greencastle. Sure. So we know that in terms of a severe weather, and let me show you future track here. We'll play through it. Okay, so there you go. And there's that line sweeping through. There's going to be a sizable gap of mostly rain-free radar conditions. Once we get closer to 3 p.m. And what does redevelop later today may be completely south of the track here. So, but then it'll be a literal race against time.
Yeah, because sunset's at 9.
Sunset
but
is
you don't
at
go all
9.
the way to sunset. They were talking more about maybe 7:30, 8.
Yeah. IMS President Doug Bowles did say, they don't want to run all the way up to sunset.
Of course.
Because you're trying to get all these people out here in the dark. So there's a lot that's going to go on to this. But the bottom line is, if you got friends that are out there, just let them know that this heavy band of rain, again, not technically severe, but it doesn't matter. And we've been addressing this heavy rain, and even if it was just heavy rain, that would be fine.
Yeah,
but when you start talking about lightning, which is extremely dangerous out in open territory, you need to be indoors until this axis can move east of the track here or wherever you're watching us from. A lot of folks got their the race day parties going on too. Until this can get east of your location, you need to be indoors here.
Right, and that's why we have our lightning tracker up. The vast majority of those lightning strikes are within that downpour that lasts for, let's say, 45 minutes or so. But every once in a while, Sean, you see on the backside, maybe towards Greencastle, there's some of that rolling thunder that could take place. We'll have to see how that progresses throughout the next couple of hours. But the big hit happening right now, in fact, you're just zooming really close to Speedway. It looks like the downpour is just about one exit south on 465 coming right in.
Here you go. So this is one of the NDOT cameras. So this is Crawfordsville Road here. And then you mentioned 465. There you go. So this is 465 Crawfordsville Road, now in the rain. And then we're going to see these rain rates ramp up here.
They're pretty heavy. I was just looking at some, because we can look at some radar estimates. Also was just looking at some rain gauges on the back side of this, anywhere between, a quarter inch to about a full inch of rain. So we've got a good dosing coming our way, which also plays into the fact you add, a light sprinkle wouldn't take as much to dry the track, but a half inch or so, that's a little bit more.
Well, so we're looking at our pagoda cam, and you can see that awning there in the lower left, everyone kind of huddled up there. And again, this is not even the heaviest. You know, we're looking so that camera is looking south, going into turn 1 there. And so you can see west and southwest of the track is where that heavy band, where it is, and then where it's, you know,
there it is right there.
It's just a matter of time here.
Yep.
Top of the hour,
Yep.
probably before top of the hour, and you can see there's a strike there just happened right really close to the Motor Speedway. Okay, so let's go ahead and again look for some of these wind spikes. Let me see if we're picking up. Yeah, and so potential certainly there. You know, in the 40 to, you know, these are pockets of 40 to 50 mile per hour wind gust.
Yeah.
That lightning is the story, man, and that's why they made a correct call and good timing, and they, you know, look, I do not envy what they're dealing with today, because it's just, you talk about a mass of humanity and you're trying to keep everyone safe, and at the end of the day, that's what it's all about, is safety there. So we know the axis is over us right now, and I would say, you know, we think the heaviest happens the next half hour likely.
Yep.
Before this can get over toward the east here. So again, indoors, regardless if you're at the track or wherever you are, you hear thunder, you need to be indoors until that thing can pass by here. So this is just a 15-minute sequence on radar.
New update coming in from the National Weather Service as well. This line, as it pushes all across the rest of the state. Of course, we're very track focused, but we're also focused on the rest of central Indiana. This line is kind of hit its maybe weakest point overall. It's probably not going to weaken as much for the rest of the day because we've been heating things up back off towards the east. We've had a little bit more sun. Now the clouds are coming in, but with temperatures closer, like you were showing earlier, upper 70s, some low 80s the farther east you go towards Newcastle and Richmond and Muncie. This line may still have the ability to produce those 40 mile per hour wind gusts at any time as it presses east. National Weather Service saying about 1 to 2 o'clock, estimating for Kokomo, Anderson, and Shelbyville, closer to about 3 o'clock once you get towards Connorsville, Richmond, and Winchester. So everyone's going to get a good dose of rain as this comes through.
So here's what I want to do. I want to take the radar back an hour. This is kind of how I like to see how things are progressing in terms of a speed standpoint here. And so, you know, near Bloomington, and then current time, and then let's do a distance tracker on this. So roughly ballparkish 35 to 40 miles per hour, okay? So with that said, what we do is, we know it's over the track now, but this is for, you know, we know a lot of folks that are watching us too that aren't necessarily at the track. But I want to take this out, and let's do it. We'll do it on a 40, and we can take this thing out another. I'm going to do another hour at least. Okay. So there you go. There's your Anderson. You see Geist at 1 o'clock. Lawrence top of the hour. Okay. And so downpours. This is going to be downpours and get you over toward Geist at about 105. All right. And Anderson, we've got you at about 135. And then if we go out to about 90 minutes, we'll get you into Muncie at around 2 o'clock, Marion about 2:03. Okay. By that time, these gusts may start to ramp up a bit. So conceivable that we may get into some severe thunderstorm warnings. And we've seen some of those. Now, I will tell you, I don't like to have severe weather. You know, this could be a completely different ball game if we were in Louisville and points to the south.
For sure.
That's where that part of the line is rougher than what we're dealing with right now. So,
looking at the terminal Doppler, because that storm is right over normal radar, looks like that wall of wind is hitting the Speedway right now.
And there you go.
There you go.
There's
you see the
camera.
rain.
Yep.
You see the flags.
Yep.
Looks like we're just crossing 465 and then going along Crawfordsville Road towards the Speedway. Just some estimations between 38 to 40, 45 miles per hour. So did just get a wind gust on the west side of Avon, 38, and then a wind gust at the airport 24. But this wind is now really picking up there at the track.
Yeah, yeah. And so we're at 12:45. We think by roughly 1:30 to within the next hour, the heaviest will be east. The rain will likely continue. Okay, so it might actually be a good idea. While we're on here, and they were like, "How long you guys want to go?" We were told. Sure. Matt and I will talk. Okay?
We can chat with them.
So what if we did the backside? Now, a little tougher to say.
Sure.
On the backside, whether or not it's going to hold together,
right?
And if it's going to continue to move, so it's a little easier to time out that lead line.
It's wonky.
But because it is race day, we're going to go from Paris, Illinois to Terre Haute to Linton. Terre Haute, by the way, getting into the window. Let's do this at 40. Let's do this at 40.
Sounds good.
And let's take this out. Let's take this track out. Let's do another 90 minutes. And how about that? Let's do 120 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay.
There we go. So 2 hours. That's a 2-hour track that Sean just did.
2-hour track. So that roughly puts us in that 2:30 to 3:30 window, give or take. Yeah. So then again, you start, some estimates have said 75 minutes to dry. I think it's, we might be closer in the even if you're trying to say a 2-hour window. Yeah. And then hopefully, they get out there and they run like crazy. Sure. You know what I mean? And that we don't have additional showers. Right. And so I think that's actually something I want to show too is, so we look at, right now, there's no redevelopment behind this complex in Illinois, at least right now. Yeah. And because of the timing of this midday, early afternoon, that bodes well to delay the onset of what comes behind it. For sure. And pardon for the glitch here, because I'm just going to switch sources because I want to see something. Okay, we just had a severe thunderstorm warning issued. And this is this is going to be for Marion County. Let's get in. So now we have a severe thunderstorm warning. It'll pop up here. Give it a second, but it'll pop up here. And there it is. All right. So now this is for all of Marion County. Yep. Includes Carmel, Fishers. It includes the Speedway, by the way. All right. Includes the Speedway. This goes until 1:15. Severe thunderstorm warning. And we said, Matt, east of that line, right? Yeah. Had a chance for some intensification. Yeah. Over 50 mile per hour wind at the Weather Service right now.
At the Weather Service, okay. And that's pretty close to where, you're talking about southwest side of Indianapolis. So just a couple things from the warning itself coming in from the National Weather Service. Yep. Some hail could also be possible, some smaller hail. This is mainly, though, due to the wind gusts, some up to 60 mile per hour wind gusts.
Yeah,
possible.
And all I'm doing is turning the radar off for just to show you the polygon. So Plainfield, downtown Indy, the Motor Speedway, Broad Rip, all of the majority of Marion County, and then parts of Hamilton County. Okay, severe thunderstorm warning until 1:15. Radar indicated 60 mile per hour wind, my friend.
And it looks like that the edge of those winds now just about to come into downtown Indianapolis. If you're farther to the north and east side, let's say you're Meridian Hills, maybe you're out towards Lawrence or Fishers, you still probably have another 20 minutes to go before the wall of wind hits you. And with the heavier wind gusts and the lightning strikes as well. But right now over the Speedway, you've got the wind coming right into Rocky Ripple and then out towards Meridian Hills and then north side of Indianapolis.
So here's the Motor Speedway right now. I'm going to tweet out this warning real quick, and I'll let you talk over this, over the cam and the radar.
Yeah, so this goes into southern Hamilton County as well. So Carmel and Fishers, you got another 20 minutes or so. But this is what's coming your way. You're looking at the Speedway, and when we're looking at some of these wind gusts, we're topping over 45 miles per hour. Very easily, you can get a gust near 60. And so that's the reason why the warning's out. You need at least a 58 mile per hour wind in order to trigger a severe thunderstorm warning or the possibility of that. And so that's why we have that warning. That includes most of Marion County. So downtown Indianapolis, you are next because this is coming out from the Speedway and coming out from the airport, moving northeast by about 45 miles per hour. So it's chugging along here pretty quickly. But if you are in Fishers, Carmel, or Noblesville, this wall of wind is coming your way within about 20 minutes. And this line itself, we could have more severe thunderstorm warnings as we go throughout the rest of the afternoon because we've been able to heat things up more easily on the east side of Indianapolis. So as this band of downpours pushes on through, it's not necessarily weakening. I mean, we're getting into the afternoon now where you can get some more heating from the sun, even though there are a lot of clouds out there. So this storm complex will continue to sweep all across central Indiana. Looks like we've got a new special weather statement out for the eastern part of Indiana. This would include Wayne County, Fayette County, Union County, and then south towards Brookville. Just winds generally picking up to about 50 miles per hour. So here's the other thing. These storms are moving pretty quickly now, about 45. So it doesn't take a lot to for the storm to add to that motion of the storm to produce those gusty winds. But you can see what's headed your way. Wouldn't be surprised if we got some small little pockets of hail as the storm pushes through.
Yeah, let me, so we'll go from that vantage point to, okay, so this is our camera that was looking at the pagoda. For good reason. We're not going to see it, right?
Yeah.
Let me show you the NDOT. So we're at Crawfordsville Road. We'll switch over there, okay? And then here is the 460. I mean, that's just a super soaker, man.
Yeah,
that is just big time rain with embedded gust possibly up to 60 miles per hour. So let's go back to live Doppler 13 radar. If you're just tuning into our stream, Matt and I are going to ride this thing out with you, okay? Plainfield, the worst over for you now. The worst is over right now on top of IMS and on top of downtown here. Let's switch over. Let's look, see if we can see some of these spikes. And you're right. I think what we're starting to see a little bit of a wind spike on the other side of the radar.
There it goes, yeah.
Site there. That's 35. And again, the Weather Service office had a little bit over 50 miles per hour. So that's drifting close to the Motor Speedway. All right. There it is. You see IMS. And I mean, this is just, I tweeted a picture out earlier today of the snake pick. And I mean, all of our jaws were on the ground. That thing's going to be an absolute mud pit, obviously.
It will be, yeah.
So we're now approaching 1 p.m., okay? And we've been saying, as we started our coverage here, we've been talking about, 2:30 to 3:30. And that window is when the rain should be moving out of the Speedway. Right now, though, and this was, this is why they delayed the start. A couple of days ago, we started looking at the higher res modeling, and I'm like, man, we're going to have a delay.
Yeah, we are.
And then it started leaning toward more of the start, and so that's where we are. So again, severe thunderstorm warning, all of Marion County, parts of Hamilton, parts of Hendricks technically. Though I would argue you could probably they'll start to shave some of that off.
For sure. It looks like most of the wind has now left Hendricks County, except the northeast corner there, Traders Point, northeast Brownsburg. It looks like there's actually an uptick in some of the wind when you're looking at the terminal Doppler there towards Zionsville as well. So they'll watch. Good wall of wind for them.
Let's pop that up. And and you know what? Let's also look at our shear rate. Sometimes it does. So it's picking up, and even outside of the polygon. Even outside that polygon. And that's not a complete surprise. Additional severe thunderstorm warnings east of this line are very much in play. And I would argue, where's my telestrate? This zone over here, we may get some additional severe thunderstorm warnings as this thing starts. And let me go, this is what I was trying to look at when that warning came out. So, Okay. So double nickels on the gust at the airport from the Weather Service.
55 miles per hour.
And so that puts you on the right near the severe wind threshold, which is what prompted. I think once they saw that and you start looking at the radar, okay, we're going to put a warning out here. So Noblesville, Fishers, this thing's pushing your way. All right, pushing into Hancock County, and with or without a warning, you're going to hit with that wall of rain and this is, I mean, I don't care what you're doing outside today.
No.
This
stops it.
You're going to be riding this thing out indoors until it gets east of that.
In fact, most of central Indiana is going to get hit with this heavy downpour. It's one big line. A couple different segments have some gustier winds at times as well. We're also taking a look at this loop, Sean.
Yeah.
A lot of lightning. And one thing that we can track is the progression of that lightning. We still have a lot, especially a little bit towards Zionsville and then on the south side, kind of like where you're showing those shear rates. So this storm is still chugging along. Now, if we dropped all the lightning, that would be a sign that this storm is weakening. But right now, we've got a pretty consistent new formation of lightning on that leading edge there, especially on the southeast side of Indianapolis on 65 South as you're on the east side of Greenwood and Southport. This thing is headed towards New Pal and eventually Greenfield. You guys looks like part of the special weather statement still goes out towards Greenfield, but eastern suburbs about to get hit.
And as we look to the east here, so look at this. Now the sun's good and bad.
Sure.
It'll help drive the track if we can get into some sunshine. It also can sometimes help some pop-ups, though. We're going to be exhausting a lot of energy out of the atmosphere with what's happening now. So we just have to get through it, friends. All right. So let's go back. Let's show you again what the Motor Speedway camera looks like. The Pagoda camera.
My goodness.
Boy, those those folks under that canopy there. But most importantly, you know, the grandstands mostly are empty. I think I do see some people under the covered portion. Under the covered portion there. Yeah. And there you go. There's Crawfordsville Road. Golf course there on the west side of Marion County, and then here's Crawfordsville Road as well. So,
and it's hard to stay dry out there because we got the wind too. So the raindrops are not just going straight down. So if you're under some sort of covering, the wind's kind of moving it sideways. So we've got just kind of heavy rain just spraying everyone there at the Speedway. You're zooming in. They're close to Metro. A lot of lightning on the southeast side. A lot of wind there too.
A lot of lightning. And because of the 55+ mile per hour gust at the Weather Service, and because of so many people, at last check when we talked to Doug Bowles, now that was hours ago, they were estimating inside of the track at that time. Yeah. Now that was roughly about an hour before they made their call to get everyone, you know. Right. They were talking about 130, 140,000. Yeah, so that's a lot of people. And then, you know, and obviously around the track, you got folks that are camping out and things like that. So let's hope everyone stays safe, regardless of where you are. That's why we're going to be on. We're going to ride this thing out with you until, you know, yes, have we had worse storms? We have, but it's the timing of this thing. And, you know, holiday weekend regardless. Yeah,
Memorial Day weekend.
Race day, folks, you know, there's a ton of outdoor activities. Yeah. Hopefully everyone has caught part of the forecast here at some point in time. Yeah.
Big boating weekend, sometimes the first boating weekend you have.
That's right.
And it's something you have to watch out for. You know, if you got friends and family out towards Brookville Lake, for example, Lake Monroe, we've had a lot of heavy rain and thunder. Now, if you live in closer to eastern Indiana, you know, some of the lakes just north of Newcastle, they're Brookville, they're southeast of Connorsville. This would be something that you have to watch out for, something that, you know, lightning and water don't have a good mix. But this line continues to push north and east over time. Looks like even some heavier pockets of rain now forming along that edge. It's chugging along, especially on the north side of Indianapolis. You kind of see a kind of a blooming effect with some of the rainfall. Very heavy downpours there on the north side, there towards the Fashion District, there towards Carmel, Meridian Hills. Good rain.
Yeah. So as we look at radar here, so we're getting close to 1. So the heaviest is now, even though it's still raining heavily at the Motor Speedway, the heaviest is east of town, or east of Speedway. Broad Ripple, Rocky Ripple, as you mentioned, all the way up into the north side of the loop and then into Hamilton County there. And this thing arcs all the way back to the north and northeast. Now, I also want our folks in south central Indiana, you know, Greensburg, Rushville, Cambridge City, Richmond, you need to watch this line until it can get out of the state, which I think we feel pretty good about, maybe about 4 o'clock.
I think you're right.
You know, it's in Ohio. We're probably going to get some additional severe thunderstorm warnings between now and then.
And there is a chance, National Weather Service has talked about putting a severe thunderstorm watch in effect for eastern Indiana. That has not happened yet. We'll let you know if that does happen. But we're right on the edge. You know, this storm, we've had it up to severe limits. There's chances that as this whole complex moves east to Richmond and Newcastle, that it could continue to strengthen, at least in pockets. So don't be surprised. You've either got to watch out for eastern Indiana or maybe even a quick warning. But right now, the only warning we have is for Marion County and then into southern Hamilton County as this storm moves up Allisonville Road right towards Fishers and Noblesville. Geist, it looks like some of the light rain has really picked up, but a downpour is now forming on the south end of Geist. And then that won't be the only one. We've got really heavy downpour mixed in with a lot of lightning on the east side of Indy coming right towards Geist. So something to keep in mind for those out on the water today. Big line coming on through. Very heavy rain from Zionsville headed north to Westfield. Very heavy rain coming down, a lot of lightning as well. And looking just at the wind gusts as well, kind of different, a couple different pockets. Nice wind gust just about to hit Carmel, especially on the west side of town. It's leaving Zionsville, headed into Carmel. Westfield, about 5 minutes or so before a wall of wind hits you guys. Fishers, we're getting close. This thing is moving through Meridian Hills and we'll be crossing over 465 and coming into Fishers here within the next 5 to 10 minutes, that wall of wind. The warning's already out, but the wall of wind is almost
Yeah,
here.
and this is Dave Calabro there.
Yeah.
He said it's at the track.
Yeah.
He said it's at the track there, which we know. But he's in his spot, and he said boo.
Not happy.
He knew it was on the way. Yeah, we feel your pain. You speak for all of us there, my friend. So severe thunderstorm warning continues technically until 1:15. We may get an extension of that. They did shave out the southwestern corner of Marion. They took, for good reason, they took out Hendricks County. Now, and you mentioned this earlier too. So behind the heavy band, there you. Well, let me change my. Well, I'm not quite sure why that's not.
So the main part of this warning, by the way, we just get a new report from our producers and directors. We got some reports of some hail, actually from former 13 News meteorologist Kelly Green was talking about some hail. She's at the track.
Okay.
She's been letting us know some updates. So we've gotten some hail. The hail is not the biggest threat, but hey, you never want hail with this cell. Mostly due to the wind. As this, I think we just got a new warning.
New one coming in.
Yeah, it's going to populate in a second.
Yeah, and that makes sense.
We do have it's called a special weather statement, which is kind of just one level below severe thunderstorm warnings. We don't always talk about them, but very heavy wind gusts, strong wind gusts there for northeastern Boone County, and then headed towards Tipton. You guys are included, and Frankfort included with some of these wind gusts coming through.
Yeah, and I would say based on the radar and what we have going on now, and there it is. I was getting ready to say we're probably going to get a severe thunderstorm watch, and there's the watch. So this does not include, because again, once this line moves through, the odds of severe weather happening before sunset at the track, I think, are pretty low.
Yeah.
Okay. So, but severe thunderstorm watch includes Muncie, Richmond, Connorsville. And speaking of Connorsville, you are now under a severe thunderstorm warning until 1:45 for that line that's going to be moving your way. Okay. Near 60+ mile per hour wind. The watch itself technically goes until 8 p.m. That will be our storm show with this line. Yeah. It's likely over by 4:30 in the east, even in the eastern part of the state there.
Sure. Finally get this thing out of here. And then severe threats still linger, especially south of Indy.
Yeah, and I'm gonna tweet this. I'm gonna try to tweet this watch out real quick.
So you're looking at that whole yellow area there from Newcastle, so from Henry County east into Richmond. It does also include to the north Muncie, includes you guys in Winchester. Also includes Connorsville, Fayette County, Union City, Union County. You guys are included as well, and then into Brookville Lake. So this includes eastern Indiana from about the Newcastle exit in Knightstown eastbound all the way into western Ohio, just because this line is having a hard time weakening because it's actually moving into an environment that is warmer to have a little bit more energy. So
well, and you know, timing is everything.
Yeah, it is.
And so this midday timing allows it to intensify on the where you said, in the eastern part of the state that's been much a bit warmer.
wonder if.
What you need?
Do you think
my
the
friend?
Barron button would be able to show some hail pockets?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it here.
See what it kind of looks
Stand
like.
by.
So what we're doing is we can look into the radar a little bit more and look into some of the algorithms. And
Yeah.
when you're looking at some of the hail
Yeah.
potential,
And there
you're
you
looking at
go.
those purple ones.
There you go.
So not massive hail, but likely some pockets of pea-sized hail very easily, some nickel-sized hail possibly at times as well. Anywhere you see in those purple areas. Looks like the hail has now left the Speedway. In fact, at the Speedway, the downpours are gradually coming to an end. The wall of water is pushing east into downtown and the north side of Indy, Meridian Hills, out east on Allisonville Road towards the Fishers area and Carmel. A couple other pockets of maybe some larger hail. Southeast side of Indianapolis there towards Beech Grove. You kind of see that little pocket of purple there getting close to 465 as you're wrapping up on the southeast side of town. That pocket's going to be headed out towards about Post Road and probably headed towards the Greenfield area within about 10 to 15 minutes. So if you live in Greenfield or anywhere around Greenfield, you're going to be watching for some hail and plus some wind, of course. Wind is all along this whole storm. Now, Sean's looking a little bit closer. You see IMS there on the west side of Indianapolis, just east where you see Speedway technically showing up on the map. It looks like we've now reduced more to a steady rain, but the heavier downpours have now pushed out. Even Indianapolis is starting to, at least downtown, starting to wane on some of the heavier downpours as they push east, basically all up and down 465 on the east side of town. Very heavy downpours that continue to march east towards Greenfield and towards Fishers. New Pal picking up on some of that as well.
Yes.
And this storm continues to move about 35 miles per hour.
Yeah, sorry, I was just trying to tweet that graphic out and let people know.
For sure.
And by the way, if you're at home, but you have friends that are out there, just let them know that we are that we're doing this live coverage on our live streaming platforms here, okay? And eventually, NBC will pick up their coverage out at the Motor Speedway. So again, and I just tweeted, the worst is over for IMS. The rain probably going to continue, ballpark another 90 minutes, give or take, okay? As we examine the radar and we look back, there was, the well-known window over Terre Haute is now open for business, okay? Yeah. It's just going to take, it's probably going to take another hour to 90 minutes to get here, all right? There is the line that, this will be the roughest. This may be the roughest for a lot of folks today.
Yeah.
We'll wait and see, and you and I will be watching this as we progress into the evening, but there's a chance that this really diminishes the intensity and displaces the higher intensity well south of IMS, but may keep our southern, Bloomington, Columbus, Seymour, Bedford in play for that next round. Yeah. And I think we're still thinking about the, give or take 8 or 9 p.m. to maybe heck, possible by midnight, all this stuff is out of here.
Yeah, then we can be good, get into Memorial Day.
Stabilize things a bit.
Yep.
I don't think we can go completely dry tomorrow, but the odds are much lower than today,
much
my
lower
friend.
Than today. Yeah. For sure. And the timing was everything. John and I were talking about if this line had come in, 2-3 hours earlier, we would have a longer window in the afternoon to try to heat things up and to pop some stray ones. So we're getting this now.
Yeah.
So hopefully we can dry the track and then get things running.
And as we look at the pagoda cam there, you can see that not nearly as heavy as it was. So this all makes sense. Yeah. And now what we'll do is we'll wait and kind of, and you mentioned Kelly Green, our dear friend, who is assisting, the Motor Speedway and Doug Bowles, helping them out, and she's a great asset to them. And so we'll wait and kind of see, they're probably going to release something at some point, like, all right, this is when we're going to come on back in, and this is our target time and all that stuff. So
quick update, Speedway is no longer included in the severe thunderstorm warning.
Roger
it
that.
does include still downtown Indy, but we're just talking about right now. The question is, Sean, how quickly can we get this rain out?
Yep. And I don't know if anyone's in the control room, but if you can take our camera and give us more of a wider perspective. I know that was kind of on the pagoda cam, but yeah, thank you, friend. But yeah, so this is just a 15-minute loop, by the way. This is just a 15-minute loop. All right. So severe thunderstorm warning, Connorsville, 145. That's what's for over Greensburg. What's going to lift to the northeast. Potential of 60-mile-per-hour wind. Why we've got the radar up, so you can see. And let's do this. Let's go back about 45 minutes, Matt.
Yeah.
And watch the wind. Actually, let's go back about an hour. And you know what? Let's do that terminal radar. Might give us a better vantage point.
Yeah.
There you go. All right, so there you go. So before you and I went on, we were watching near Monrovia.
Yeah.
There was a little bit of a wind spike.
You tweeted that one out because that one was the first wind spike.
And then there it is moving over, and there's the so once it got to the to the Weather Service and they saw the double nickel gust out there, 50 mile plus mile, that was like, okay, we're gonna. And so as we play through time, you can see in those brighter reds that are moving through Lawrence now, heading up toward Geist, into Hamilton County. Not as strong as earlier, and let's hope that trend continues. But we still got a lot of bolts around too, friend.
A lot of bolts. So this storm is still pretty healthy. Looks like probably our most bolts are right there where 465 meets I-70, close to Post Road. Lawrence, Warren Park, Cumberland. You guys have some of the probably the loudest skies. McCordsville, you guys are next. I got some downpours now, but the storm's moving in. Just looking at some rainfall reports, because we can estimate with the radar, but just coming in from rain gauges, we got one just on the west side of Speedway, 0.33. And that's a good amount of rain just in the past 45 minutes or so. So a good dose. But here's the thing, we've now got light rain for a while to go, but we've had between a quarter to a half inch of the track already fallen.
So I mean, and so again, when we start talking about the drying process, so obviously, I mean, the heavy rain you mentioned, the humid air.
Very humid.
And then probably initially, and we'll see if we can clear things out. But initially, we may be on the cloudy side. So you can see, you can see the cloud deck goes beyond Terre Haute. So again, it's probably going to take a couple of hours. Give or take a couple of hours to get that track, all that moisture off that track. To get it out. All right. And I mentioned the humid air. So our dew points are in the mid 60s.
For sure.
If these were mid 50s, or they're in the mid 60s now. If these were mid 50s, and then the lower that number is on the map, the better and quicker things can dry out.
And there's not a lot of wind out there either. Once, I mean, it's very windy along the storm. On the back side, though, just looking at some wind speeds around Terre Haute and Brazil, they're not very strong. They're 5, 10 miles per hour. If it was windier, just like a blow dryer, you'd be able to dry it off a little bit faster. And so here's our camera downtown, and no more than 10 minutes ago, we could hear it. We could hear it pounding the roof. So the heaviest is done. We're done in downtown now. So the heaviest is now east of the city, east of the track. I just tweeted out that the worst is over for IMS. It's just we're going to have to go through some more rain. New update from the National Weather Service. You'll see it populate on the map here shortly. But the severe thunderstorm warning is being expired for Marion County.
Roger.
They're saying no more active severe thunderstorm warnings, at least for areas close to central Indiana. You go out to Connorsville, of course, we still have that warning. That's actually a different National Weather Service office. But in a moment, you'll see that warning go away. It looks like the wind has died down. But, Sean, I'm still looking at some still very gusty winds that are from Lawrence headed right towards McCordsville. Are we at severe limits? Hard to say, but still 40 to 50 mile per hour winds coming up the northeast side.
Let's
there towards McCordsville.
We'll pixel query that.
What are we getting?
And so,
there you go.
That's below severe threshold.
But it's breezy.
Still 45, still lightning, and we stress this. It sounds cliche, and you probably heard it enough that you're like, stop saying it. But we're going to keep saying, thunder roars. You go indoors. There's a reason. It's just real easy. So again, on the back side of this, we've had a few strikes beyond, on the western side of the, so this was back 15 minutes ago. See over toward Liston? So we can't completely say that, yes, we know for sure. The heavy axis is done with Speedway. It's done. There still could be some random rumbles of thunder and lightning for maybe another 35 minutes, 45 minutes. All right.
Sure.
Again,
They can happen anywhere within that green that you see.
Yep.
They're going to pop up anywhere.
So let's ballpark this. So we're 60 miles. 60 miles from the backside of this rain axis.
Yeah.
And with everything moving generally in that 40 to 45 mile per hour range.
Yeah. Yeah.
So let's go ahead again. We normally don't, but we're going to do this because of what day we're talking about here. I'm going to be conservative on the speed.
Yeah.
Let's take it out 90 minutes on this. So that's roughly, again, we were saying in the 230 to between 230 330. That still looks like that's going to hold.
Yeah. Yeah.
If we split the difference and said 3 p.m., couple hours to dry, maybe a little less, perhaps we'll see.
Hopefully, yeah.
Are we looking at, in the 4:30 to 5 p.m. window for green flag?
Probably.
And then you get out there and you go.
Yeah.
You go.
Yeah.
So, and Nick, if the desk and the desk too, if you guys see anything from IMS or Doug Bowles, I don't think we're going to do anything right now, but if you happen to see anything, just pop in our ear. And yeah, so right now, copy that. As of right now, metro area, no active severe thunderstorm warnings. In the Channel 13 viewing area, we do. We've got Connorsville and Brookville, both until 1:45.
Yeah.
Okay. And then let's get another vantage point again at the out at the Motor Speedway. So you can see the folks underneath the awnings.
Yep, you can. Huddling there still.
In the grandstands. You can see their lower left.
Yeah. Couple more people meandering there.
Yep.
Outside the shelter, but
And
like
so
you
at
said,
this point now, everyone is like, even though we have to be patient, like we're there. They're ready, and I know everybody else is ready to get this bad boy going.
Right. That's right.
So hang tight, friends. If you got some friends at the Motor Speedway, let them know the worst is over, and now it is a waiting game for the backside of that rain axis to move through here. And this is, well, let me just get this back to a 15-minute lapse. But still got some heavy stuff. East side, Westfield, Fisher. So if you're at home, maybe you're at home, and you're beginning your journey to the track.
Sure.
Because that is going to be true for some folks.
Sure.
Depending on your location, where you're coming in from. If you're, Fishers, Fortville, Greenfield, if you're deciding to head in now, you're going to have to drive through this. And it's going to be a blinding rain with a little bit of gusty wind. It's not severe, but it is going to be a little bit of gusty wind. If the desk is listening too, if they can give me some NDOT cams, maybe on that east side, northeast side, 69 there, kind of get within this heavy axis, that'd be awesome. Just to get a bird's eye view what it's looking like here. So here's downtown.
There you go, yeah.
Still wet, still rain at the track, obviously. But it's good that the worst is done.
Yeah.
Let's hope we don't have any pop-up lightning strikes. The next half hour. Matt.
And IMS called it very well. Plenty of time to get out of the stands. Honestly, probably could have time. We don't want the thunderstorm, but with that thunderstorm, things have been able to play out from how you have to adapt to it. Just looking at some traffic too, we're fairly slow on the east side of town, right where you see the heaviest reds and greens showing you the heaviest bands of rain that continue to march east. It looks like there's the angle as these storms are moving north and east, kind of running into each other on their journey from south to north, and so that's helping to kind of reduce that threat there on the east side of Indianapolis, other than just a very heavy rain batch and some 40-mile-per-hour winds. But it looks like some batches there close to the Ohio River moving north towards Brookville Lake and Connorsville have some pretty good wind gusts. So that's why we still have that severe thunderstorm warning through much of Fayette County, and then a special weather statement for Wayne County. If you're out towards Richmond and Centerville, you'll be having some gusty winds here shortly. Yeah,
I'm just going to record a little video here. Just to say, hey, hang tight, friends. The worst is over now. Let's get this bad boy dried. Let's get those cars out. Let's have a safe race, and hopefully we have a full 500 miles. All right. Leading up to this, we were talking to, as we were helping everyone make some contingency plans. One of the things that I had mentioned to our some of our meetings.
Sure.
That track sometimes has a weird way of working out.
Yep.
It does.
Yep.
And the last time we had a rain-shortened race was Franchitti winning in 2007, and prior to that, it was which is now going to be the 20th anniversary of the tornado outbreak, May 30th, 2004. It was a Buddy Rice.
Yeah.
And the last time that they were not able to get at least 101 in on a race day was all the way back in 1997 when it was.
Yeah.
They eventually had to run that puppy on Tuesday. So.
Right. We usually find a way.
I mean, and we'll see how all the rest of the day shakes out. But if all this timing plays out, let's get the cars on the track, and boy, and obviously then our sunset's just a little after 9.
Sure.
And but that's how things are shaking out. So, so if you're just hopping on our stream here, Matt Standridge and Sean Ash here, just updating everyone. We know there's a lot of eyeballs on our city and our state. And so this is, no severe thunderstorm warnings for the metro area. We still have some rough storms, Noblesville, Carmel, Fishers, Fortville, and we do have that continued severe thunderstorm warning. And that may be, it's possible that thing gets extended, Matt, for Connorsville.
Sure.
Because it looks to me the cells themselves are moving almost more northerly on the eastern side of the state there.
Yep.
Yeah,
for sure. And since they're kind of moving a little bit more of a northerly track there on the east side of Indy, you're now getting kind of a training effect. You're starting to waterlog those updrafts, so that usually helps to slowly try to reduce the intensity of the storm itself, but then you also just get a lot of heavy rain. I was just looking at another rainfall report coming close to the Speedway, about a half inch. Good amount of water, and we could maybe pick up another few hundredths of an inch. As long as it keeps sprinkling at least, you can't dry things out. So most of the heavy rain, like you said, Sean, is now done.
Well, and I was looking near Greensburg. Those are, we're getting about 35, 40 radar rain or radar estimates, wind estimates. Okay. But yes, to your point, and look, this atmosphere now, it's juiced up, man. So it will deliver 1 inch per hour rain rates for sure. And as you mentioned, because of the way this thing's setting up now, we could be upping the ante for some flooding east of the track. But within that axis, absolutely fair game that we could get some flooding. So why don't we do this? We're going to take a little break. Our digital desk is going to keep the radar up, and we'll join you again at 2 p.m. 2 p.m. We're going to take a little break here. You can see the backside of that rain that's inching closer. We still probably have another at least hour, if not a little bit longer. But let's take a break here. But again, stay with the stream. We will keep the radar going, and then Matt and I will be with you coming up at the top of the hour. Stay safe, everyone. We appreciate you trusting us for your local weather info. All right, everyone. Sean Ash back with Matt Standridge here, and the wait is almost over, friend.
Thank goodness, right? The folks are headed to the stands as we speak.
Yep.
As, the heavy downpours are out, the lighting is out,
Yep.
and
There,
we're just getting light right now.
there may be just one little gasp of some light rain over at the Motor Speedway, which we cannot show our track camera now that NBC has started their coverage back up. But we've got some folks out there.
Yeah.
We know it's definitely lightening up.
Yeah.
Let's get right into it. We'll show you the vantage point here. This is from downtown Indy. So we were thinking sometime in the 2:30, 3:30 window, and let's show you the most important thing is live Doppler 13 radar.
So you do see, we've got the light blues and a little bit of green close to the Speedway. That's still showing some sprinkles. So we're still going to be lingering with those. There's still kind of a batch out towards Avon, Brownsburg, and north end of Plainfield, just sweeping by the track.
And so this is it. Let's stop the radar here. And basically this is it.
Yep.
This is it.
Final
So
round.
we're approaching 2:30.
Yep.
Those dryers are going to get out there very quickly.
Yeah.
And so let's just say 2:30
Sure.
for the sake of argument. Couple hours.
Yeah.
And so then you're looking at a potential 4:30 to 5 o'clock green flag, if not a little bit sooner.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just to kind of recap what happened earlier, just looking at some rainfall reports, we picked up about a half inch at the track, so good dose. They had some vehicles going around just inspecting the track just a few moments ago. Like you said, the dryers are out and ready.
Oh yeah.
To start their laps. We're down to 68, so we cooled off a little bit, but the humidity, the dew point's now basically at 68.
Yeah, so the air is just about 100% saturated.
Pretty much there, yeah.
So it's just that works against. Now, if we can get a little sun and spread that number out a little bit, I will tell you that the IMS tweeted out just before we came on.
Yeah.
Lightning cleared the area around Speedway. Gates have reopened. Spectators may return to the grandstands.
Good news.
Boy, you better believe it. So, so now, and what I want to do too, let's switch over. I'm going to show you, we got a tight version. That's what blasted through.
Yeah.
Cloud cover, which could again help our cause there.
For sure.
That cloud deck still goes beyond Terre Haute, but possible at some point in the next couple of hours that this cloud deck thins a little bit. Anything is going to help. And so then we start thinking about, okay, what's to come for the remainder of the day?
It's a big question.
And the atmosphere is there's always these dominoes, right?
Yeah.
This, and if we can, I'm okay keeping the cloud deck longer.
Sure.
To prevent what we know there's going to be some redevelopment. Now this is latest high-res data, so this takes us to 7 p.m. So we've exhausted a lot of the energy in the atmosphere, still fully have a lot of juice.
Yeah.
But as we go, so now we're talking 9, 10 o'clock.
We're past sunset, can't race in the dark.
Yep.
So from a rainfall perspective,
Once
this batch is done, that's going to last another 10, 15, 20 minutes?
I mean, and I always try to, can we completely say that there's not going to be a pop-up between now and sunset that may hit the track? We can't.
Right. That'd be very unlucky.
But the odds of it happening are low, and I think that's what we're trying to say here. We do want to know, we got a lot of folks that maybe not be at the track here, but we're going to probably draw a line from Terre Haute to Bloomington, Columbus, take it over to North Vernon, and then drop it down toward the Ohio River. We kind of feel like that's going to be the zone if we get additional severe weather. It's probably going to be down in that particular region.
Yeah. So I was looking at some new data coming out from National Weather Service on some short-range modeling, and even with that punch that comes in later, it looks like most of the wind threats that would spark those severe thunderstorm warnings would be about Bloomington south.
Yeah.
We'll see. I mean, it's just data, but like you said, it's trending south.
Yeah, and so the bottom line here is we're getting this bad boy out, and we need to get those dryers out, and they will. They'll be out very soon if they haven't gotten out there yet. Nick's going to keep an eye out on our NBC feed, he'll let us know. But hey, we still got some rough storms, by the way.
We do.
Not at the track. Again, the worst is over. The Motor Speedway, Muncie, Summitville, not technically severe, but just like what moved through Indianapolis, that's heavy rain. Heavy rain, inch-plus-hour rain rates, a lot of lightning. But yes, it is more track-focused here. Sight for sore eyes as we get this rain and get it moved out. But again, we still have a little rain, and they're probably. I assume they're probably going to wait. Yeah, they're looking at the same stuff we're looking at.
For sure.
They know, and they got meteorologist Kelly Green over there helping them out. But they know once this little axis here, moves east of the track, I think we might get those dryers out maybe even before 3 o'clock.
That'd be nice. Then we can start the clock on that drying time.
Yeah,
which is very important.
And that's what it will be at this point in time. So the timeline is essentially, so we had a window of 2:30 to 3:30, so we're hitting the early side of the last drops on that 1 hour window. Anything earlier is great. Okay. Then we just don't. Then we start looking to the west because that's let's do a couple of things. So this is temperature. Okay.
Look at the difference. Richmond, that thing's dropping temperatures by over 10 degrees as it pushes through.
Yeah. So yes, cooler technically. But as you stated, let me find my dew point map. So
it's not very nice.
We have a 68 degree temperature, 65 degree dew point.
It's sticky.
That's humid air, and that's why it'll take.
For sure.
It's probably going to take close to 2 hours. We'll see. They got the new NASCAR dryers out there, but boy, it is going to be working overtime, and to get this bad boy dried and to get this race going. Just for while we're here. This is a list of the rain-shortened races. Of course, 101 is technically official. That's official? Full race 200. You got to go back to 2007 for the last rain-shortened race. 166 laps. That was Dario Franchitti. 04 was the Tornadoes.
Right.
And Buddy Rice. But you got to go all the way back to 97.
So it's rare. It's rare.
Not getting this thing at least an official race.
Well, we're lucky this thing came in a little bit later. Because if it came in earlier, that window in the afternoon, we were talking there could be severe threats at the track. But at least now for the race, there will not be severe threats.
Well, and look, I mean, absolutely. So again, everything now in terms of we will look west. We've mentioned this boundary all week long. We knew that it was going to be a thorn in our side. If we did not have round number 1, could have been a different story. This warm front probably could have done a lot. And we still will be watching, by the way.
For sure.
Just because we're going to be watching west and southern Illinois and the clearing, all that stuff. We'll be monitoring very closely because, again, high-res modeling is only so good. So that's why we say we can't. But at this point in time, we've used up so much energy. Are we going to be able to build back up? I think is the question, right?
Really looking at some of those clouds around St. Louis, you see how they kind of perk up a little bit. Some of them sustain themselves, some of them fall apart. So that would be something that we will watch once the skies start to clear out a little bit more, which is looking close to 4:30, 5 o'clock, which theoretically could possibly be roughly the time the race could start if we can get that 2 hour window done with the drying. So maybe get a little sun as the cars start going around, but we'll just have to continue to watch. Anything could try to flare up, but chances at least are on the low side.
So this is high-res model data with the severe weather risk, which has been the level 3 for good reason has been shaved down north and northwest of Indy. But still a level 3 in place. But as we play through this particular run of the high-res modeling, again, we will be looking west. I think that we feel like that's where the redevelopment, but this is 7 o'clock here, and now we're getting into that 10 p.m. time frame.
Yeah.
still feel very confident that there's going to be a round 2, that the brunt of which will likely bypass the Speedway after sunset, and but Bloomington, Columbus, Seymour, Bedford, you'll have to be paying attention to this, because before midnight, roughly in that 9 to 10 p.m. to midnight window, that first burst, then once, this may be more of a flooding situation with some pockets of wind damage.
And we've already picked up a ½ inch across much of the state, and a ½ inch to a full inch of water.
Yeah.
Are we able to pull up the terminal Doppler for a second?
Oh, yeah.
Because it looks like that round is just about to leave the Speedway.
Yep, there it is, right there.
There it is.
That's it.
See it over Eagle Creek?
Yep. And some of these echoes that you're seeing, those aren't really rain echoes.
Sure. So
I think this right in here.
Yeah.
So it still may clip.
may clip the Speedway on the north end.
And I'm looking at an off camera. Again, the camera that we cannot show you. The full team of dryers are not out right now. But folks are getting back into the grandstand. And so, I think we'll have those dryers probably out here within the next half
and we'll let you know when those dryers are finally hitting the track.
So what we're trying to tell you, friends, is that your patience will be rewarded. Let's get everybody back. And this was all a safety deal. But now we've got to get everyone in there, get them into their seat. And of course, all of the events preceding the race, we've got to get get as many people back into the Motor Speedway. Of course, that takes time. That takes time.
So we're watching some vehicles going on right now. I know you guys can't see it. We're watching the radar. You see the radar, some sprinkles. We've got some vehicles going around. Still a lot of road spray behind these vehicles as they go around the track. There's a lot of water still sitting there. So it's not going to be an instant thing like Sean's been talking about with the higher humidity and the clouds probably sticking around. Now he's showing you rain estimates there close to the Speedway. Probably about a ½ inch or so, up to an inch in some spots. You see the greens show you the heavier bouts of rain, but then right there over Speedway, a little over ½ inch radar estimated at the track.
And so, let's if we can thin out that cloud deck a little bit, that would be nice. But that's it. That's going to be it. For a long, probably we hope we can't guarantee
for sure,
but we hope until after sunset here. So. If you have friends that haven't checked us out on the stream, or if you just let them know, give them a buzz. And now that everybody's getting allowed to get back in, and so we now it's just going to be waiting.
Just waiting.
Get those dryers to do their stuff here.
Almost like watching paint dry.
And look, we will continue to monitor radar. But in our last time we were cutting in, we said, probably by 4 p.m., the axis of this particular storm should be into Ohio, and it looks like that timing is likely going to work out. And then after that, we just wait and watch and get ready for the next round, which is, what are we at, 2:30? We're talking almost 6 hours before, by that time, it's possible south of Indy, we could be under another watch. And we'll deal with that. But the odds of rain returning to the Motor Speedway are on the low side.
On the low side. Speaking of watches, just a quick update.
At
least before sunset, for sure, because we could get hit later. On the watch itself, we had a watch issued for Eastern Indiana. It's now been canceled for Decatur and Rush County. So Greensburg and Rushville, you're no longer under that watch. Still a watch for Wayne County, Fayette County, Union County, and up north towards Randolph and Jay County. Very heavy downpours pushing through Centerville and Richmond, Connorsville, Brookville Lake. We've got a lot of lightning, and a lot of lightning there over Muncie, it looks like, too.
And I'm just looking at some of the wind here, just to, looks like Grant County getting the brunt of the wind.
Loud there, too. That's where some of the most lightning is.
Now, I say the brunt, it's not severe. But picking up at 35 to 40 miles per hour. But I think this is just, most of it was, with the exception of that 55 plus gust at the weather service or the airport. Most of this has just been, that very heavy rain and lightning that continues to pivot away from the Motor Speedway. So we're going to, we're going to we'll have the digital keep up the radar, although we feel pretty good now.
Yeah.
And it's just nice to see the folks getting back into the grandstands, everybody getting, you know, it's because again, we're going to take a couple hours here before we haven't got to start, at least, let me double check. I don't think we've had a start time announced just yet, and that probably won't happen until they can get those dryers out.
Yeah. Once we know, we'll let you all know as well. Taking a look at a little bit of satellite too. It's still cloudy over central Indiana, even after as the rain leaves. But it does look like some of the low clouds are thinning out. In fact, if you look at some of the upper level clouds, they're still kind of lingering. But we do see the back edge of the clouds about to swing through Terre Haute.
And look, if we can get that in here, again, that just dries out the air a little bit and speeds up the drying process. And so, all right, well, we'll have the digital team keep the radar up for right now. Matt and I are going to take a little break. We're monitoring, we're updating on social media. If you're at the track or if you're heading to the track, please have an awesome time. And hopefully we have a safe race for everyone, from fans and the drivers. And we will have a newscast tonight at 6 p.m. That'll be followed by the rebroadcast of the 108th running. And we will have a newscast at some point later tonight. The start time on that is to be determined. All right, friends, we appreciate you guys. Be safe, and we're starting to see some dryers get on the track.
That's some good news.
Stay safe, everyone. Have a great race day.